Okay, so here's a really nice data presentation that the Financial Times, which is a newspaper, does, and it shows. Okay, so right now we're looking at deaths per million in the United States on a logarithmic plot. So notice that the y-axis is am I on screen there? Yeah, 1, 2, 5, 10, 20.
Okay.
But we can also switch that off the log plot and make it a linear plot. But you can see the log plot actually helps you see the situation a little bit better, because whatever this country is, Belgium, got really bad, and we'll see Belgium here as well. It just helps us see what's going on a little better. Okay, so you said you were surprised to learn that deaths had been going down in the United States. But they've been going down, well, looks like they peaked in mid-April.
Okay.
At, what does that say, 6.4 deaths per million per day? And right now we're at 2.1.
Looks like there is a little upward tick.
Oh, yeah, there is a nice little upward tick there at the end. So why do you think the shape of you said you were surprised, so tell me about why you're surprised, and then tell me why you think it does look like this.
Well, I was surprised because new cases were going up, and I would think with new cases would come new deaths, but they were still on their sort of downward trend. Maybe it's like that because of the time it takes for the disease to take effect, the 2 weeks. Maybe because of that lag, it creates some differences in the data.
I guess because the cases have only just started going up, like, pretty recently, like within the past month. So deaths wouldn't have started going up to reflect that until just now, basically.
Yeah, and so we can go down here and we can look at states as well. So I don't know what I had it defaulting to here.
New York,
so New York, California, Florida, Texas. And let's make sure this is deaths per million. Hold on 1 second. I'm slightly confused at the scale.
It's a different scale than that.
7-day rolling average of new deaths per million. Oh, okay, that's because we're dividing by the country population here. You're dividing by the state population. Sorry, I was just asleep. Okay, so what do you see on this graph, just with these states?
So New York had hit its peak early on and then has been in decline. And then these states kind of went up and sort of stalled out here, and the cases remained pretty constant, and then they've started to go up pretty steeply.
Yeah, and one thing I want to show you is, let's look at this on a linear scale first. So we'll get rid of the log chart so you can see how high New York was on deaths per million, but that still doesn't help us compare states because that doesn't say how many deaths are actually happening. So we'll look at the raw numbers.
So New York has had way more deaths.
Back in April, New York was having more than, for maybe that's a month or 10 days or something.
800 deaths.
800 deaths, or more than 700 deaths a day. So does this help you understand why deaths were going down in the United States for a while?
I mean, yes, because maybe the numbers were so high at their peak that.
Yeah, so the Northeast got hit very hard. This is probably New Jersey. Yeah, you can see it says the state there, and then maybe one of these is Massachusetts. There's Pennsylvania, there's Massachusetts. Yeah. So the Northeast got hit very hard, and there were a very large number of deaths, and that began to decline. At the same time, while that was declining, the other states weren't rising. And so you had not one, but you had say 3 or 4 states hit very hard. Those deaths started to decline, and now you're seeing things.
These can't decline anymore, so deaths aren't going down anymore.
Yeah, it's harder for these. This declined from 800 to 20, and now these ones are rising. So that's kind of the explanation for why deaths in the U.S. were declining. We can also look at cases. This is per million, I think. We're still raw numbers of cases. So the raw numbers of cases, actually, you're seeing that in Florida, Texas, California, it's really rising. And then per million, what are we seeing? In terms of number of cases, those states are near the number of cases that New York had at the peak per million.
What's the state?
Probably Arizona.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where the other big outbreak is.
Washington is, I'm not sure what it's doing.
It's a good, I'm glad you clicked on that. It starts, 0 here is the number of days since 0.1 daily cases per million. Sorry, that's even off screen. So the first outbreaks were in Washington.
Okay, that makes sense.
And so Washington's, they're trying to start everyone at the beginning so you're looking at when the pandemic started. That helps. All right, so now we're going to look at some graphs I made this morning.